So in this video, we're going to go in and start cleaning up these controls and connect them to the reverse fit, which will control the rest of the body. So let's look at that. This is going to be our foot control. This is going to be our heel control, toe control, and then our ball control. And then let's look at setting up their pivots where we want them and setting them up with groups. So I'm going to start off with a null group, so just pushing Control G with nothing selected. And this is going to be for my foot control. And this is going to be to 0. So this group, I want it to be at the ankle. So I'm going to parent it there. 0 out all its attributes. Then Shift P to unparent it. That is exactly what we want. I'm going to duplicate this group and I'm going to rename it to offset. And put that group inside of the next group. So if we look at it, it's going to be completely zeroed out, which is perfect. Then we want to take the foot control and put that inside of there. With the foot control, I just want to make sure that I have the pivot where I want it. So if I push insert, that lets me move the pivot. I can hold V and vertex snap it. If you're on a Mac, it's going to be function left arrow to do that. So there I have the pivot in the correct spot where I want, the controls where I want, and then I'm just going to tell it to modify freeze transformations. So here our control, when we select this, is going to be oriented to this joint, which in this particular case we don't want because of the way the foot is going to be working for us, but it could be okay, but I'm going to adjust this group here to just freeze the transformations on the main group, just so it's oriented to the world when we start off with. You know what? I changed my mind. I'm not going to do that because if I want to go back to world, I can always just switch the move control to be at world and then I'd be fine. It's more for orientations that we want to worry about that. So if I go to orientations, I have this. Yeah, looking at orientations, I am still going to want to reset this. So I am going to select this group and do freeze transformations. This group right here, I am pushing G to do the same thing, and this one here, G to do the same thing, but it's all set. So we can see that even though we're in local mode, we can rotate and move the foot the way we expect for this particular joint. So I'm going to repeat this process for the heel, the toe, and the ball of the foot now. So create a null node, parent it, zero it out, unparent it, and we have that null that is going to be for the ball. And this one, I do want the orientations the way it is set, so I am not going to freeze the transformations on this one. But I can rename this group to be offset, and then put the ball control in there. Perfect. So toe control. I'm going to create, oh, before I go too far, let's double check the ball control here. The pivot is in the wrong place, so I want to make sure that I go into my control here and move the pivot onto the joint, which will allow us later to be able to rotate the way we expect it. And everything else is correct. On this, I do want to make sure that I do freeze transformations. Perfect. And it is oriented the way we need it to be. Cool. So now we got to do the toe group, parent to the toe, zero out transforms. Ooh, not that. Let's try that again. 0. Then Shift P. Cool. It is where we expect it. Get the name correct. Duplicate it. Rename this to offset. And then the toes will go here. And move the pivot. Oops. There we go. And freeze transformations. Just double checking, everything looks good. Great. Now we need to do the heel. Oops, let's try that again. There, select the heel, parent, zero out, unparent, name this, and this is going to be our GRP underscore 0. Duplicate that group, create an offset, put the group there, and then take the heel, put that into the group. Here, let's make sure that our pivot is in the correct spot. So I'm going to snap that, oops, snap that onto the joint, and freeze transformations. There we go. So now we just need to set the parenting to each control. So when I select the foot, I want it to move all these other controls. And when I move the heel, I want to move the toe and the ball. Then the ball the toe's going to move the ball, and the ball is going to be the last one down in the children. So let's find the ball group 0, and let's parent that to the toes. The toes, we're going to go straight into the heels. The heel, we're going to go into the foot. So here we have a set of controls. that will allow us to move the whole foot. If we have the heel, we can tap our heel. We can roll from our toe, and we can roll from the ball of our foot. Everything is working the way we're expecting it to. So let's save this, and we'll go on to the next lesson.